Got another big boy tank for you vapors out there. That's right, and this is the Reux by WISMEC and Jabo. And anytime WISMEC and Jabo come out with something, it piques my interest. She's large and she's in charge. Got her sitting on this Reux RX 300, and this thing is just obnoxious. It's stupid. I mean, stupid in a good way, obnoxious in a good way. Holds 4 18650 batteries. Cannot even get my hand wrapped around it. Can't even get my hand wrapped around it. That's just crazy. But you know what? The battery life is insane, man. Insane in the membrane. Back to this Reux. It's phenomenal. It really is. The only con that I found, I'm just going to go ahead and straight up tell you right now, okay? You'll see this in close-ups, but it comes with two secondary bases, okay? You get an RBA base and you get a coil head base, and you got to pull one of them out. If you're going to be running this thing in coil head mode, you got to keep the coil head base in there. If you're going to be running in RBA mode, you got to pull the coil head base out, pop the RBA base in, and it takes screws, 2 screws from the base, okay? So it shoots from the base up and attaches it in there. I think that that's a hassle to me. That's the only con. But the good news is, when you have this sucker in RBA mode, it's just a one switch and done, basically. That's all you got to do is just switch it out once and you're good to go. If you want to switch it out in coil head mode, just switch it out once, you're good to go. It already comes in coil head mode. But that being said, it is a little bit of a hassle, and that's the biggest con to me. That's the only con to me. Everything else about this is pros. First of all, coil heads. It comes with 2 coil heads. It comes with a 0.15 ohm organic cotton coil head. Flavor is phenomenal. It's better than all these other big time sub ohm tanks. Now, is it crazy times better? No, but it's a little bit better. It's noticeably better. You get flavor for days. You get vapor for days. Rip, is the flavor as good as an RTA? You know what? At first it is. Like the first day, even halfway into the second day, it is as good as an RTA, and then it starts to diminish a little bit. The fact that it's as good to me as most RTAs out there for the first day, that's saying something special. That's really big. The ceramic coil head is even better than the 0.15 ohm organic cotton coil head. Ceramic, for me, it just gives off the best flavor, the cleanest flavor. So yeah, both coil heads, phenomenal. Okay, the RBA section, I like it. Onto the tank. Airflow, you get tons of it, and the airflow is smooth as a porn star's ass. You could fill this thing up for days, man, and 6 mils of juice is what it holds. The top fill, it's easy peasy, what a sleazy. It comes with 2 drip tip sleeves. I like the shorty, but you get a longer one right here. You'll see this in the close-ups. Here's a longer one. You can't tell from here, can you? And then last but not least, the build quality. For the price point, build quality, quality control, the sheen, the shine, whatever you want to call it, phenomenal. That's the first thing that I noticed when I pulled this out of the package, and it's just a step up from other devices, other big time sub ohm tanks that I've seen. I think the reason why the flavor is so good, I'm jumping back to the coil heads, is because you're going to see Jabo engraved into the coil heads, and that's actually part of the wick ports, okay? So the juice feeds through the Jabo name to the wick and then to the coil, and then you got other holes on each side. So you got a total of 4 holes. Again, you'll see this in the close-ups. I think they got the pressurized system right within this tank, and then the wicking. And anytime Jabo comes out with something, he knows what he's doing. He's a designer. I mean, this is what he does. They got the pressure right with the amount of wicking slots, and it is a science, guys. It's a science and an art, and just one little detail. I mean, this tank can look the same as that tank and that tank and that tank, but just because Jabo did one little detail just a little bit differently, it vapes better. That's the way vaping is, guys, with these products. I mean, it's all in the details. So here's the deal, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dive down, show you this thing up close and personal, come back. I'm going to vape on it in 0.15 ohm coil head mode, vape on it in 0.5 ohm ceramic coil head mode, and then I'll even vape on it in the RBA mode. And then we'll wrap this sucker up. So here she is, boys and girls, the packaging for this WISMEC Reux tank. And inside that packaging, you will receive your WISMEC Reux sub-ohm tank / RTA, an extra 0.5 ohm coil head which uses ceramic wicking. An RTA section comes with a baggie of extra goodies, 2 pre-built Clapton coils, a Phillips head screwdriver, some extra O-rings, a Delrin drip tip sleeve, and some extra screws. You also receive a sheet of this organic Japanese cotton. And last but not least, a WISMEC Reux user manual. So here she is, boys and girls, the main attraction, the WISMEC Reux sub-ohm tank / RTA. A few specs for you. She's primarily made of stainless steel. She's 25 millimeter in width, and she's 64 millimeter in height. Holds a whopping 6 mils of e-liquid. She's got bottom dual adjustable airflow, a massive amount of airflow. You grab a hold of this ring and you adjust. Whatever you adjust on this side is going to be the exact same as on that side. You can close it off all the way. It does stop, and when you open it up all the way, it stops. So it's not spinning in 360. Again, massive amounts of airflow, guys. At the top, she's got a whitish board Delrin drip tip sleeve, which is kind of curvature, okay? Kind of curves out, and it's just a comfortable drip tip sleeve. Oh yeah, right here, triple O-ring down here. You see that? So again, it pops on there, it pops off. Easy, perfect amount of restrictiveness. It also comes with this little shorty. Check this out. The shorty, boop. If you want a shorter look, it's got top fill, Coil head and base section unscrew from the top cap or the fill port / shaft section. Okay, there she is. The 0.15 ohm triple coil head uses organic cotton, massive coil. And you know what's different about these coil heads? It uses the Jaybo signature, but the Jaybo signature is not only engraved into the coil head, it's part of the wicking slots on both sides. So the juice feeds through the Jaybo signature to the wick and then to the coil. And then you got 2 other feed slots, 2 on one side, 2 on the other. Again, this is the 0.15 ohm, uses organic cotton. So with this base section, you have a base section within a base section, and this base section is meant for the coil heads, okay? But if you pull this sucker out, you could pop the RTA base section in, and if you look underneath there, right at the base, you got 2 gold-plated screws. You pull those suckers out, and you could pull this base section out. Like I said, a base within a base. So I pulled both the gold-plated screws out, and check this out. Base within a base. This is the base for the coil heads, again. And there is the base, the permanent base section. Airflow slots. And also the adjustable airflow ring, that can come off like so. Now here's the RBA section, a little bit different. You've got the non-spring loaded clamps, kind of like the Goon mixed with the Lynx without the spring loaded action, okay? But you got the massive bottom airflow that runs throughout the length of the deck section. I mean, it's massive. And then you got the 2 wick ports on each side, which total out to 4, okay? And then at the bottom, it's another base section. So you've got the gold-plated screws on each side. One of them is a little bit corroded, just gonna point that out. But you got the floating 510 pin, or the 510 connection, which makes a connection with a 510 pin. That allows for the airflow to smoothly travel underneath there, so you can get that smooth airflow. What does it say over here? RX RTA deck 1. Okay, so there's more decks coming. So you pull the coil head base section out, pop this RTA base section in, line up the screw holes with the screw holes, and then screw the screws in, and this is in RTA mode. So I got the screws back in there, and first I'm going to vape it in coil head mode, and I'm going to vape it with both coil heads to show you the performance of both coil heads, okay? The ceramic coil head and the 0.15 ohm organic RX triple coil head. So yeah, the first one I'm going to do is this massive one. Oh yeah. The RX triple coil head, the 0.15, so I'm going to screw this bad boy in. Go ahead and prime the coil head up just a little bit. And then fill her up. I'm going to show you the 0.5 ohm ceramic coil head, okay? Recommended vape, check it out. 40 to 80 watts. Like I said, 0.5 ohms, and you got this screened in. It's completely screened in ceramic coil head. The coil is embedded into the porous ceramic. Definitely a tighter draw, but the flavor I get off this is better than the 0.15er. Again, you got the Jaybo, which is engraved, which is part of the wick port. Again, you get 2 feed slots on this side, 2 feed slots on this side. So it's all feed slots, just like the other coil head. Again, tighter airflow. Alright, so before I take you guys back to FaceTime and vape on the 0.15 ohm coil head and then the 0.5 ohm ceramic coil head, I want to show you how I wick on this bad boy, okay? This RBA section. First of all, the build that I have in here, it's a dual parallel Clapton build. This is just a stage wicking, okay? What I mean by stage wicking, I haven't even pulsed these coils yet. So this is what it's going to look like once I pulse the coils, and I had to do it this way because of I've already got 1 tank already assembled and they only sent me 1 tank. So once I pulse the coils, this is how I am going to wick it, okay? I don't want my wicks going all the way down to the bottom. That's just the way I do it. It all depends on the juice that you're vaping on, the thickness of the juice, VG-PG ratio, all that stuff. It also depends on the cotton you're using. Some people's cotton is thicker than others, some's thinner than others. Fluff it out, make sure they're not going all the way down to the bottom. Oh yeah, the juice that I'm going to be using today is an 80 VG 20 PG juice. So it's on the thicker side, so yeah, that's another reason why I don't want them going all the way down to the bottom. But all I'm going to do is just gently pop the top cap or the chamber section over it. And booyah. And you could juice it up beforehand or after. And that's how I have it right there. And this thing vapes just great like this. So yeah, like I said, got this 0.15 ohm coil head in here first. 70 watts. That's what I've been vaping on for the past 2 days. Actually, this is going into 3 days. And 70 watts with a 0.5 ohm coil head is ideal for me. Now, you can take it up, man. Just like you guys saw in the close-ups. 100 watts is like, that's like the tipping point for me. That's like, I'm not going to go any higher than that. It just gets a little too hot for me. Again, all this is going to be subjective. But yeah, 70 watts. I got the airflow 3/4 of the way closed off. That's right. And I am getting a, saturated, warm, flavorful vapor for days. I mean, it's like effortless, and it's not too hot, it's not too cool, it's right in the middle, and it's just the flavor. The first day I had it, it was easily as good as most other good big time RTAs out there. Effortless. Effortless. Now I'm gonna take her up. 80 watts. Gets warmer. Obviously, the flavor intensifies just a little bit more. This is a phenomenal coil head. And the vapor is just a bonus. That's like icing on top of the cake for me. 100 watts. Oh yeah, and the airflow is still 3/4 of the way closed off. That's how I prefer it.
Hey, Rip, if you're gonna take up the wattage, just open up the airflow.
Okay, fine. I'll do it just for you guys. So I'm gonna open her up. I'm gonna open her up halfway, a little bit more halfway. You know what? I'll take it up to 100. Let's see, 135 watts. That's insane. I'm taking her back down though. Let's see. 95 watts, halfway open. Yeah, that's definitely doable. The flavor's still there. It's not as good as if it were at 80 watts when I had her 3/4 of the way closed off. So you know what? The most comfortable vape for me is 70 watts with it closed off 3/4 of the way open. That's the most comfortable vape for me, where I get just the right amount of heat with the flavor. But if you want the most flavor with this coil head, okay, 3/4 of the way closed off at 80 watts, it is a little bit hotter for my taste, but the flavor, it just jumps just that much more. That's probably where you're gonna get the best flavor in my opinion. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna close her off 3/4 away, 80 watts. Yep, that's just bodacious. Alright, so now I pop the ceramic coil head in here, and she's reading at 0.57 ohms, and I'm vaping her at 55 watts. That's my sweet spot for this coil head. Oh yeah, and I got the airflow 3/4 of the way closed off as well for this coil head. Flavor off this coil head to me is cleaner than the other coil head, but it's gonna be. It uses porous ceramic. Vapor for days. Look at that. It's just as dense, if it's not even denser than the organic cotton. You're not going to get the clouds because it's not at the wattage. I'm going to take it up in a second, but I'm going to take one more hit because it's just so damn good. So just for titties and skittles, what I've done is I've taken the airflow halfway open, and I've taken her up to 75 watts with this 0.5 ohm ceramic coil head. It actually vapes pretty good. It's a little bit warm for my taste. The flavor, to me, it's better at 55 watts. Even though it's a cooler vape, I get better flavor. Again, all this is going to be subjective, but I'll take another hit for you. Okay, so at 75 watts, I do want to state this. It spits just a little bit with the ceramic coil head. Just a little bit. Minute amount. With the 0.5 ohm, I never had any spit back, period. No matter what wattage I vaped at. With this sucker, I don't have any spit back up to about 60, 65 watts. And anything above that, it starts to get just a minute amount. And the more that you take it up, the higher you take it up, the more spit back you're going to get. Okie spanking dokie. So now I've got the RBA section in here. She's reading at 0.23 ohms. It's the same build I showed you in the close-ups. I'm starting her out at 70 watts, and I got the airflow halfway open. Here we go. Full on freaking flavor. So like I said, boys and girls, she's large and she's in charge. The old Reux by WISMEC and Jabo. Jabo, if you're watching, I think this tank puts you back on the map, man, in a good way. And then you know what? People are going to buy the shit out of this thing. It just is what it is. It's going to be like the TFV8 Cloud Beast, but I think it's going to be even better. I get better flavor off these coil heads than I do the TFV8 Cloud Beast coil heads. And you know, all this is going to be subjective. I just think this is a more versatile tank. No matter which way I vape with this tank, it just gives me a great vape. So right now, this sucker has taken the throne. He's the king of the big old sub-ohm tank / RTAs for a competitive price point. And speaking of competitive price points, I'm seeing this sucker sell for 25 to 40 bucks depending on where you buy it online. That is a steal. And that leads me to talk about the big question, the big answer today. Hey Rip, if you lost this sucker today, would you go out tomorrow and buy one? And the answer is hell yeah. This is Rip Chippers, and remember, smoking is dead. Vaping is the future, and the future is now. Hey WISMEC, I got a message for you. Jabo, I got a message for you. Jason over at Joytech got a message for you. Why are you just sending me one of these tanks? People want me to give them away. So send me more of these tanks to give away to all my fans and followers. And speaking of all you fans and followers watching out there, if you want me to do a giveaway of this badass tank, then like this video. Show WISMEC and Joytech you want me to give away one of these tanks. Or a few of these tanks. Or 10 of these tanks.